Hey everyone, and welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, a game that I consider to be a spiritual successor to Yu-Gi-Oh! BAM! And if you know what Yu-Gi-Oh! BAM is, then yeah, bonus points for you, because that was a awesome game. But yeah, today let me introduce you to a mat farming deck that I have been using to get the mat for Earthbound Immortal... I don't know how to pronounce this card properly. Ccapac, I guess? I only know that in the anime, Callan was like,
"Oh yeah, I summoned my Earthbound Immortal Ccapac!"
and it sounded pretty ridiculous. So for me, this big giant monster will always be Ccapac. Big giant Ccapac, okay? But yeah, deck-wise, as you can see, of course, we have our ace master here, Ccapac himself. And you don't have to use Callan to grind for the mat, you can use whatever character you want. I just chose Callan just because for the thematic feel of it, you know, it's his ace monster and that's it. So let's read his effect here a bit. There can only be one Earthbound Immortal monster on the field. If there is no face-up field spell card on the field, destroy this card. So when I grinded for the mat, I thought I need to have a field spell on the field to summon this card, but apparently it's not so. Apparently, when you summon this Earthbound Immortal, even without the field spell card, this grinding will work. But not for this particular deck though. So, basically you summon Earthbound Immortal without this field spell card, and it will still be considered as a summon, even if it will be instantly destroyed. So yeah, I didn't knew that. That's why I have this Power of Dark skill here, but you don't have to have it, you know? So yeah. The better idea here would be to actually have a skill which is called Draw Sense Earth, simply because we have a lot of Earth monsters here in this deck, as you can see, and it helps with the survival ability. Because there's one issue with these mat farming decks in general, is that they lack survival options. So next card on the list is Double Castan. This card is required here for our Ccapac, so we can summon him. And next we have deck thinner cards, Tricolor, Bicolor, and Unicycler. Now normally instead of these 9 cards I would use, let's see now, I would use Jar of Greed, Good Goblin Housekeeping, and also Legacy of Yadagarasu. These are 3 cards that I use normally instead of these cards, instead of these machine monster cards, you know. But like I mentioned before, yeah, this deck lacks survival ability options, so that's why I included these small little machines here in this deck, because they are just awesome monsters. They act as deck thinners, and yeah, they really help with survival ability in this deck. So basically you place Tricolor in defense position, then when it's destroyed, Bicolor appears, and then when Bicolor appears, Unicycler appears. So basically you are setting up a wall, and opponent cannot deal with that. And also, yeah, it thins out your deck. So so yeah, this Tricolor, Bicolor, and Unicycler engine is actually a pretty nice engine for farming decks. So I was kinda experimenting with this engine here today. Okay, so next we have Ganago. So this card is needed here for our loop to happen, so that we could summon our big giant Ccapac as much as we possibly can in a duel. And next we have Gravity X Grarl. This card is needed here so that opponent is not switching Ganago to attack position, because we'll be using this deck against the level 10 duelist, and the level 10 duelists they always switch their monsters to attack position. So, and we don't want that for this deck. Next we have Mystic Box, so that we could give our opponent Gonna Go. Next is Different Dimension Capsule. Also simply to get the cards that we need faster in our hand. Instead of these two cards, you could also use Shards of Greed, and it would work equally well. So, next up is the Mask of Remnants, which in these farming decks is actually a really nice card, so that you are not running out of your cards, because yeah, we'll be maximizing our turns during a duel, and the Mask of Remnants helps you to not run out of cards in your deck. So, next we have Power of the Guardians, which will be needed so that we could place it on Gonna Go, so it is not destroyed. And next two cards are Graceful Tear and Localized Tornado. These two cards are needed here so that our opponent is not decking out. So we have a decking out option for us, and we also have decking out option for opponent. So yeah, that's our deck. How it will operate, I'll tell you just in a minute when we'll get to the duel replay. But yeah, this is our deck. And keep in mind that this whole engine that I showed you currently, it's not only good with this particular monster, Earthbound Immortal Ccapac, it also works great in other mod farming decks. So, and if you are wondering if there is a new player here who is not familiar with mod farming in general, well, of course you could get the map for a particular monster normally by including that monster into your deck, you know, and summoning it by normal means, you know. You could get the mat while having fun, yes, but it will take forever, so that's why people are coming up with these mod farming decks to get the mat for that particular monster faster. So, and I like mod farming decks because there's some creative beauty in these decks, you know. But yeah, this is our deck. And to grind the mat, we'll be actually choosing level 10 Duelist. I already mentioned that before. And I advise you to choose actually Bonds. Bonds is one of the weakest Duelists in the game. So yeah, against Bonds, this deck works great. And not only this deck, but also other farming decks as well. So yeah, if you're curious which legendary duelist to choose to grind this mat for, I advise you to choose Bonds, because he's the weakest one, pretty much here. Okay, let's check out our duel replay here, and let's see how the deck operates. Now, keep in mind that first, our main option, our main goal here will be to survive. So yeah, our starting hand is not the best one in the world, but let's use Different Dimension Capsule here to get the cards that we need faster into our hand. Now let's set Gango in defense position, and it will act as our shield here. So let's use yeah, Different Dimension Capsule again to get the cards that we need faster into our hand. And we're pretty much set. So the first goal is met. We can now survive, so now we can yeah, just thin out our deck. We're setting this double Caston onto the field so that we can summon
Earthbound Immortal Ccapac.
So yeah, enjoy the awesome summoning animation. Yeah, the summoning animations in this game are pretty kick-ass. So okay, so Ccapac is on the field. So we used Gravity Axe on opponent's monster. That will be important for later. And now, yeah, let's just thin out our deck with these Tricolors, Bicolors, Unicyclers. So basically, when opponent destroys Tricolor, then Bicolor appears, and when Bicolor is destroyed, Unicycler appears. So yeah, let's use Graceful Tear to give our opponent Localized Tornado. This is for opponent so that he does not run out of cards in his deck, because he'll actually use Localized Tornado. So we use the power of the Guardians so that later on we can actually ram into Ganago. So keep in mind that in this deck, as you can see, we'll be utilizing flip summoning, and some monsters, well, when you flip summon them, it counts as a summon. So, not all of them though. Usually monsters who have some specific conditions written on them, they cannot be flip summoned, but Ccapac is an exception. So yeah, our field is set. As you can see, we used Mystic Box to give the opponent Ganago. We basically placed the power of the Guardians on Ganago as well. And yeah, our field is set, so basically our loop is created. So what we'll be doing each and every turn will be just ramming into Ganago with our Earthbound Immortal. Ganago will flip Ccapac in face down position, and then next turn we'll be summoning Ccapac again, ramming into Ganago again, and then yeah, this whole loop is created. As you can see, we have this Gravity X Rarl here placed on opponent's monsters so that Bonds cannot switch Ganago into attack position, because that would be bad. So and yeah, level 10 Duelist because well, just because of survivability, so that we could survive much more easier, because level 10 Duelists in this game, they use pretty weak monsters. You could use this deck against level 20 Duelists as well, because level 20 Duelists, they kinda switch their monsters to defense position, and then you would not use Gravity X Rarl at all. But I chose level 10 simply because level 10 Duelists, they are weak, and I use yeah, only level 10 Duelists to grind for these mats in general. So now, I don't know how much summons you can get with this deck per duel, but it's somewhere around 15-20 summons per duel. On bad days you can get 10 summons, something like that. So, but yeah, apparently when I use this deck to grind for the mat, I actually found out that there's actually a better deck out there on the internet in regards to Ccapac. It involves using Doom Shaman, but here's the thing about Doom Shaman, it only works great with Fiend monsters, and I mainly use for mod farming cards, which are not only good for particular monsters, you know, but for other monsters as well. So basically I like universal options, not just options for some monsters, you know. I like options for all of them. So oh yeah, and we are using our Mask of Remnants, as you can see here, each and every turn, so that we can send Mask of Remnants to our deck, and yeah, next turn you use it again, then it returns to your deck, and so on and so forth. So basically it is needed so you are not backing out. So, and yeah, you may wonder when the duel will end. Well, those who are not familiar, the max amount of turns in the game is actually 50. So when turn 50 will come, then the duel will end in a draw. So sometimes you can use that to your advantage. Sometimes, you know, if you see that, okay, it's last turn, then you can just go for game. If you can, you don't have to end the duel in a draw. So yeah, at the beginning I thought that I'll have to fast forward this duel, but apparently I had a lot of things to say about this deck. So, but yeah, like I mentioned before, you don't have to have a field spell card here. But keep in mind that if you don't have a field spell card here, then this deck won't work. So yeah, I was using this deck when I didn't knew better, you know, so to speak. So, but yeah, speaking about Doom Shaman version of this deck, there is one universal version for many other monsters, which is called Ill Blood version. So yeah, Doom Shaman is good for Fiend monsters, but Ill Blood is kinda more universal option, so I kinda use Ill Blood version more for these other monsters, not Doom Shaman. You could use Doom Shaman here, of course, but it will only work great against not many monsters, so to speak. So yeah, Ill Blood version is kinda better. But yeah, this is the deck, and as you can see, turn 50, and after that the duel will end in a draw. I definitely advise you to do something in the background while you are farming for these mats, because this thing gets pretty repetitive, pretty ridiculous, quite fast. So, and yeah, that's the deck. And of course, you won't be able to get Moharid summons in one duel, because that's kinda like impossible, so you'll have to duel with these level 10 duelists a couple of times to get the mat. So, and I definitely advise you to use some other characters, you know, not the ones where the particular monster that you try to summon is an ace monster of that character that you are using. I definitely advise you to use some other characters simply because of the, well, first of all, because of the summoning animation, and secondly, because of these you know, these voice lines that they use when they are kind of summoning the monster. So yeah, that's basically for time management more. So I was just using Calling here because he's kick-ass, and the summoning animation is kick-ass, and it looked nice. So but yeah, let's check out the mat itself. So let's see, you can check it out in the customization option here in Duel Studio. Let's see, where's our mat? As you can see in the Duel replay, you could not see the mats that I had set. So that's one of the downsides in Duel replays, that you cannot see the mats, you cannot see the sleeves. So let's see, Ccapac, where are you? Here you are. So here's the mat in its full glory, and they should definitely fix this, because I'm using Steam version of the game, and as you can see, when I'm viewing mats, they are kinda still placed in this vertical position like they do in mobile version of the game. But come on, Konami. I have nothing against Playboy magazines, but here it doesn't work that way, okay? Please. Please fix. But yeah guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll be making more mod farming videos in the future as well, so stay tuned for that. But yeah guys, hopefully this was helpful for some, and see you all in the next Duel Links video. Cheers!